Hello everyone, it's April 1st. You know what that means. It's my very first video making an introduction into my experience with domestic abuse, unfortunately. So, my name is Mariah. I just turned 31 years old on Wednesday. And I did something drastic. I think I'm having a midlife crisis, but my hair is purple now. I love it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shock, but I ultimately love it. Anyways, this is just a snippet into my journey through domestic abuse. In order to understand everything, I have to go back kind of far into my history. So let's get started. It all started in the 8th grade. He was new to the school. He had a troubled past, but I wouldn't find that out until later, like years later. He kept in touch with me via Facebook Messenger over the years, randomly asking me how I was doing and such. I was usually in a relationship during the times that he reached out, but he seemed sweet and innocent enough, so I didn't really think too much of it at the time. So, fast forward to my 22nd birthday. We weren't really friends before. Like through middle school and high school, we never hung out or anything like that. We didn't connect until well after high school. But on my 22nd birthday, I had a party at Dave & Buster's, and I went ahead and invited him along because he had, I guess, recently reached out and asked if we could hang out. And I invited a few other friends. Everyone had a good time, and the party continued at my friend's house, and he came along too. Everyone was drinking. What party, 22 years old, doesn't have drinking involved? I got pretty drunk. It was bad, but I do remember this night because it still kind of makes me uneasy. This is when he made his first move and asked if he could kiss me. He pulled me to the side, away from everyone. I was kind of leaning up against this hallway wall, and he asked if he could kiss me, and I kind of told him in a laugh it off manner, like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Stop. Just stop. Like, go away. And he begged me. While he was begging me, he kind of had me, pinned to the wall. He had, both of his hands on, either side of me. So I was kind of trapped there, and with his face inches from mine, telling me that he's had a crush on me since the 8th grade, and he's wanted to kiss me ever since he met me. I, again, told him I didn't want to, kind of, laughing it off, like, no, it was my birthday party, and I was still kind of, having a good time, and I didn't want to ruin it by, I guess being a buzzkill. So he begged me some more, and I felt pressured and reluctantly kissed him. I felt so icky and violated and gross. He left the party a little while later, and whenever he said goodbye, he kissed me again. And I was kind of like in shock. And there was no warning. He didn't ask me that second time. And my best friend at the time, she could see that I was bothered and asked what she's like, honey, what just happened? I'm like, I'll tell you about it later. And he left, and then she pulled me off to the side. So she was like, what happened? And I was like, well, I told her what happened, and I wasn't sure what to do after that. And I just tried to forget about it the rest of the night because I still wanted to have a good time, and I did. Now, after this, my memory gets kind of foggy on the timeline of how long it took me, but I ended up confronting him either like a few days later or like a week later. I gave myself some time to like mull it over, like the whole situation and like what had happened and how I felt about it. So I confronted him through Messenger. I told him how uncool it was that he forced a kiss on me while I was drunk and after I had already told him no multiple times. I told him that I felt violated and like he had raped my mouth with his mouth, and I was pissed. And shocker, he started to get mad at me. He tried to switch it around on me like I was the problem. I didn't understand what was happening, and no, you're remembering that wrong. You were pretty drunk. That's not what happened. And I was in disbelief. I could not believe what I was hearing. I was livid, and I was like, and at that point I cussed him out and I was like, don't ever fucking talk to me again. You're a piece of shit. And I'm pretty sure I blocked him after that, and I didn't talk to him for a couple of years. And then I'm assuming, the reason why I assume I blocked him is because I ended up getting a random friend request like a couple years later, and it was him, and he was reaching out and he was apologizing for his behavior back then. And he was like, I'm so sorry, that was really uncool of me. I hope that you can forgive me and we can be friends. Can I take you out to get some food? So I said, sure, why not? It's free food, right? And he was, owning up to the fact that he made a poor decision and he was apologizing for it. And I had just gotten out of a relationship a couple months prior to this, so I wasn't looking for anything other than friendship. And we actually became friends after that, surprisingly enough. He seemed funny and goofy and like he cared about me. He was also very obnoxious, like annoying most of the time, but we did end up hanging out a lot. A few months later, he came out with me for my sister's birthday. She wanted to go dancing, and his birthday is around the same time, and I invited him along, and we all had a good time. We drank, we danced. It was lots of fun. And later that night, we kind of sparked a casual relationship. Also, remind you, lots of drinking involved. And I didn't realize it then, but this would end up being a decision that I would most definitely regret later on in life. And this casual relationship would develop into an actual relationship that was extremely unhealthy and abusive, and I wouldn't get out of this relationship until 3 years later. So there's my snippet. In my next video, I plan on dissecting specific instances on like what had actually happened and what foundation he was kind of laying, so I can dive deeper into just that small time frame because there's lots to unpack there. So if you enjoyed this video, if this situation, my story, sounds familiar to you or someone that you know, or you're like, oh yeah, I've had something like that happen to me and I ended up dating this person, stay tuned, because you're gonna be shocked and amazed at what you will potentially learn if you don't know already. So I appreciate you guys waiting and watching my videos. Hopefully they will help you in some way, shape, or form. But thanks again. Stay tuned till next Friday. Bye.